My guest at this time is the reigning IWGP United States Champion. He can now be seen every Wednesday and Friday night as part of AEW. It is the Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer. Lance, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Well, before we get to, because you got some big stuff coming up here, like real big stuff. I want to take a step back here since I haven't had a chance to chat with you since you won the title.
Right.
I saw you like got pulled from an independent show or something because you were beat up. I think you were supposed to take on Big Cass or something like that. How bad were you beat up after that Texas death match with Moxley?
Well, I don't know if you can see. I can't straighten my hand still. It's a lot better than it was. I mean, I posted a picture of the hand. It was swollen, looked like a big old balloon. And it's still the ring finger on my right hand from punching that trash can lid jacked me up pretty good. And that was the main thing. And it was just a mutual decision between me and that company. It was just one of those situations. They were gracious enough to understand my situation and knowing, where I was going and that I had a big match the week following against Hikuleo. And we just basically had a good conversation about the whole situation. And we both decided it was just best for both the company and for myself, for sure.
Yeah, man. I know you're busy. I saw you here in Chicago at Warrior. I watched you murder Frank the Clown, and
that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think anytime you want to murder Frank the Clown, I think the fans are going to rejoice.
I think
this was a little bit bigger moment here, though, on Dynamite when you win this title. And one of the things I thought that was so cool about that moment is as you're like closing the show, you've got this title here. Over your shoulder is a Hall of Famer legend, Jake the Snake Roberts, like cheering you on. What was it like to kind of be in that really cool space there as the show came to a close, Lance?
Jake's been beyond invaluable to me in my career, especially because I spent so much time in Japan and then coming back into the U.S. market. And, he's Jake the Snake Roberts. He's the icon. He's the legend that he is. And he helped me transition back into the U.S. market very smoothly and very flawlessly, and he's helped me tremendously. I knew what the Murder Hawk Monster was all about. I could step in the ring, I could kick some butt, and I knew exactly how to do that. But learning how to vocalize that was something that Jake has helped me out tremendously. And obviously we've had a few attempts and few opportunities at different titles, and they haven't come to fruition. So for the fact that this one actually worked out and I became the new IWGP US champion, it was really cool to kind of reward him for all the work that he's done with me, for me, helping me in this long, fun, amazing journey that I've had with All Elite Wrestling. So it was just one of those things where, it was really cool that he was there and by my side. And everything that he's done for me and for us to finally capture some gold in the IWGP US Championship.
Yeah, and you talk about how you had a lot of chances in AEW, but this one it finally clicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I think that night it was nothing but positivity around you, Lance. Like everybody's so happy for you. Like, how does it feel to be finally in the role in the spot that I think a lot of fans really wanted to see you in, and finally are in AEW now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a journey, man. It's always work. You're always pushing forward, and there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. This business I've been in at 21 years, which is an amazing feat by itself. And I've, had a lot of opportunities. I've captured gold, a lot of tag team gold in my career. And the US IWGP US Championship is one of the first that I've gone that that I've had an opportunity to be a singles champion, and I captured it for the first time when I was with New Japan, and now I've captured it in AEW on live Dynamite in Dallas, Texas, in the main event of the show. It was just, the whole experience was beyond undescribable, and it was just really cool. And like I said, it's always a journey. You're always moving forward, and that was one of the cap points in my career, I guess you could say.
Well, you immediately went in to defend against Hikuleo. You've got Tanahashi here, which we'll get to in a second. But what about Moxley, man? Like, you guys have been feuding over this belt for the better part of 2 years, I think, at this point. Like, are you done with Moxley in this title? Do you see the rivalry is over? What's your vibe on Moxley right now?
Hey, I think Moxley and I enjoy beating the crap out of each other every time we step in the ring, whether it was in Tokyo, Japan, the Tokyo Dome, the AEW Championship, like at our anniversary, or just most recently in this Texas Death Match here in Dallas, Texas. I think we have a real good chemistry whenever we step in the ring. Neither one of us are afraid to knock some teeth out and use whatever weapon we can find around us and beat the living crap out of each other. So it's always a fun fight for both of us, and I think for the fans. So if he wants another chance at that IWGP US Championship when I get done with Tanahashi, I'm absolutely game to do it. it's always fun stepping in the ring with somebody on the caliber as John Moxley. He's somebody that's, I think he's revelation. I can't even speak right now. He's changed the business. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, it helps me grow and it helps the business grow. And it's always fun to do things. And the fact that we have such an open door relationship with New Japan and other companies right now, I think just makes it a lot of fun for the wrestling industry as a whole.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you are having to take challengers for both sides, Lance. Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan calls it the forbidden door, and you're really
Right.
kind of standing. You're kind of the guy holding the door open at the moment, right? Everybody from both sides is coming at you. How does it feel to know you have that many top tier opponents gunning to take that title off of you right now?
It's a lot of fun. The fact that Tanahashi is going to fly over from Japan and challenge me in Los Angeles this coming Saturday. I think it's one of those really cool elements that adds to what is going on in professional wrestling today with AEW today. I think it's the reason that fans are gravitating towards our product so quickly and rapidly and having so much fun watching, because you never know who's going to show up, what's going to happen, and who's going to be a part of it. And this is Buster Boy, by the way. He's saying hello.
Hey, Buster.
And so it's fun that I get to go out to Los Angeles and I get to face Tanahashi. I've faced Tanahashi a bunch of times in the G1s and many different times over the years in New Japan. And you just never know who's going to show up, whether it's Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Nick Gage, who showed up and fought Jericho. It's just one of those things. You just never know who's going to show up, what's going to happen. And I think that just makes it more fun for the wrestling fans who are watching on TV. And then for the wrestlers, you have a lot of different opponents to go up against. And I think that's what makes it fun, that variety.
Real quick, since you brought up Gage, you guys did have a Texas death match.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a no DQ match, but would you be game for a match with Gage at some point? I mean, do pizza cutters and broken glass, does that interest you or no?
I'll gladly put him through some broken glass and kick his ass. I'm good with that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll let that float out there, and everybody can take that soundbite however they like. Okay. So, real quick before we get back to Tanahashi, Hikuleo came through the door, right? And he was flanked by his dad, Haku, man.
Right.
How was that getting to share like an AEW space with not just Hikuleo, but also having Haku, who obviously had his run in WCW on TNT and things, and kind of synonymous with a similar kind of space you're in at the moment,
Right. The legend that is Haku, and that's another element. I think we're talking about Jake the Snake Roberts earlier. Now you have Haku showing up with his son Hikuleo. And I think that's, again, it just makes it so much fun for the wrestling fans because they just never know. They knew that Hikuleo was coming and he was challenging for the IWGP US Championship, but they had no idea that his dad was going to come with him. And the response that he got out there, he caught me with that grip for a moment there and chunked me to the rail, and my throat still hurts from that. And Hikuleo, who's, he's come through the New Japan Young Boy system, Young Lion system, and the kid's like 6'9", 6'10". He's a big old dude. He's got the lineage of his father, Haku, his brothers, God over there in New Japan. He's got a lot to live up to, but I think he's somebody that's going to be one of the biggest, brightest stars, and not just literally the biggest, brightest stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling and probably pro wrestling because of his size, his lineage, and his chance to become something special in the business. And it was fun to go against that challenge because he was so big and he did have his father by ringside. But again, the blackout got him and he was put down, and I'm still the IWGP US champion.
I saw, Tama Tonga, his brother, came out and said he's seeking revenge after what his brother. Are you worried about Tama Tonga? What do you think about God possibly making their way over to AEW Dynamite?
Hey, Tama likes to get on the internet and talk. He likes to get on Twitter and talk. If he wants to fight, we can fight. We fought a bunch of times, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was in tag match situations. But I don't think Tama and I ever had a singles match. So, and I'm always game. I'm always open. He can bring his brothers. He can bring his dad. He can bring whoever he wants. He can bring the whole club. I don't care. I'm kicking all their ass.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, it is like the AEW tag division is obviously very deep, right? It'd be interesting very interesting, I think, to drop a God into that space and see what they could do with the Bucks or FTR or anything in an AEW,
You never know what's going to happen. That's the fun part.
So Tanahashi's a Saturday night, but Friday night is AEW Rampage, the premiere. Separate coasts, LA, Pittsburgh. Are you going to make your presence felt and known this Friday night at Rampage or not?
I mean, the show's got a perfect name for the Murder Hog Monster. That is Rampage. I might have to just walk out there and rampage through every single person that wants to step on the mat, and I think that's fun. Again, we're adding a second show, Rampage on Friday. We're going to be in the Pittsburgh area on Wednesday for Dynamite as well. Obviously, the Pittsburgh fans are getting a slew of wrestling all at one time, both on Wednesday and Friday. The debut of Rampage on Friday. They'll fly out to LA and beat up old Tanahashi for New Japan. It's going to be a fun, crazy week for me and for the wrestling fans, man. And they can watch that match, Tanahashi and I, on Fight TV. So check it out if you're not in the LA area.
Yeah, for sure. And so Wednesday night, though, Dan Lambert has said he's coming back to Dynamite, and he ran his mouth last time about how wrestling was better back in his day, and then I believe you attacked him, and now he says he's bringing backup. How do you feel about Dan Lambert seemingly returning to Dynamite and whatever kind of backup he could be bringing with him?
Right. I don't consider it attacking old Dan Lambert. He was attacking the AEW fan base, and he was attacking AEW. So I was defending AEW and our generation of pro wrestling, and I just kind of put an elbow through his cheek and then put a black out on the mat. That's all I did. It's not attacking, it's defending. Now he says he's coming and he's bringing somebody with him. That's cool. Bring somebody with you, Dan. I'll put them down too, and I'll put you down again, and you never come back to AEW.
I believe King Mo is part of Dan Lambert's group. Would you be? How would you feel if a King Mo showed up and was the backup for Dan Lambert this Wednesday?
I always like fighting little people, so he can bring King Mo if he wants.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so yeah, Tanahashi the Saturday night we talked about it. That's a big deal, man. But there's so many top names out there. I'll bring up one that is obviously hugely buzzy, and I'm sure as soon as I open up this conversation. Everybody's going to pay their bills for the month. But the big news in the world of pro wrestling is that Daniel Bryan out there, and one of the big things he's looking to do in the next phase of his pro wrestling career would be to, be involved with New Japan. It sounds like from all accounts, that's like a priority for him. When you hear something like that, what do you think about a Daniel Bryan possibly entering into your space and wanting to compete with New Japan and possibly AEW as well there?
I hear the same rumors you hear. I'm only talent, so I just kind of step in the ring, and if he wants to show up, I'll gladly kick his butt too. So that's kind of how I view any of the rumors and all the guys that are wanting to go around. And again, that just makes it fun for the pro wrestling fan, because you hear those rumors and you just never know who's going to show up, where, when, and how. And I think that's, like I said, it's just cool for the wrestling fans when they turn on the TV, whether it's New Japan Pro Wrestling, whether it's AEW, Impact Wrestling, whatever company they're choosing to watch right now, and you just never know. And I think that's the fun part. So if he wants to show up, he can show up, and I'll put him on his ass too.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but do you think that he would be a good fit for the New Japan roster? A lot of people, I've heard things say be really cool to see him in a G1. You could do a whole bunch of different matches and stuff with a guy like that,
I think he's one of the best in the world. It's one of those things that, he's always proven himself time and time again, wherever he's gone. He started in the Texas wrestling scene kind of pretty much like I did. He went to Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy way back in the day, pretty much around the same time that I got in the wrestling business. He was making his mark back then as the American Dragon, and then he went on to do what he's done in the business so far. I think he obviously has goals in the wrestling business, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, and a lot of places have a lot of great platforms and formats. So you just never know. So, he's an amazing talent. So wherever he goes, it's going to be a good show. But if he shows up and he tries to fight me, sorry about your bad luck, brother.
I guess, I'll just say, I guess your sentiment would probably be the same to all of the reports that CM Punk could be returning to pro wrestling right now, correct? Yes?
Hey, again, the same rumors you're hearing are the same ones I'm seeing and hearing. And again, if he shows up, and I'll kick his ass too.
All right. Well, you guys sold 10,000 tickets for this United Center show here. First of all, that is really, really cool, right? A lot of excitement.
Very cool.
But dude, it's crazy that AEW could sell so many tickets right now as fast as they are. It's wild, right?
I don't think it's that wild, man. I think we're kicking butt. I think we've been kicking butt through this entire year and a half when we were kind of stuck in Jacksonville doing what we had to do. The ratings have shown it. They proved it. In the last few weeks, the ratings have just continued to show that people are watching. People are tuning in. More people are watching. More people are tuning in. And the fact that we sold that many tickets that fast in Chicago, I'm not surprised at all. I think it's just showing you how well AEW is doing. And I think we're just going to continue to grow and get bigger and better and better, man.
Yeah, and like you've been around, you've played some different places,
Hmm.
Lance. Is there a venue out there that that you would like to see AEW in? Is there a place you'd like to see the company run?
Personally, MSG is one of those places that several times, whether I was with the other company up north, I never got to do it. New Japan was supposed to run one of those shows recently, but the world shut down and they weren't able to do so. And it's just like every time that an opportunity for me to work in MSG came around, it didn't happen for one reason or another. So yeah, I hope that it's sooner or later that we can get to MSG, and then I'll have that opportunity to perform in that building.
When you think of like super shows and stuff, do you like the idea of maybe a super show where it's like a bunch of AEW talents on one side, New Japan talents on the other side, kind of a one night only, I don't know, back and forth between the two promotions for a super show? Does that intrigue you or no?
I think it intrigues everybody. I think that's the fun part. Again, we keep going back and forth about the forbidden door and the fact that we're kind of we have a working relationship with New Japan right now. We have a working relationship with Impact and whatever it is, and the different people that are coming in and out of AEW on a consistent basis. I think that would be interesting for anybody. The fact that if there was some kind of huge super show that involved several different companies with talents from every one of them fighting each other, fighting for their own championships, whatever the case may be. I think that's a perfect element for a place like MSG. But I think, again, you're saying you're kind of surprised about the stuff in Chicago. I'm not surprised at all. And I think if we ran MSG, especially anytime soon, there's a good chance that AEW and AEW by itself could absolutely sell out MSG and kick some butt, man.
Dude, that's a very exciting time, man. I'm so happy
For
for you. Yeah, dude, you've busted your ass for so long, man. And like to see you, I mean, but it is like, back to where we started here, man. I speak for a lot of people and I say, just happy to see you in the spot that I think a lot of people knew was right for you, right? Like dominant champion, defender, a lot of people clamoring to get your attention. And I think it's just awesome, man. I'm really happy for you and everything you're doing right now.
Thank you, man. Perseverance is key, man. There's a lot of wrestlers out there, and get a lot of young guys and girls out there, and they'll go, what can I do to be successful? And it's perseverance. You're going to have a lot more downs, a lot more no's, a lot more failures than you're going to have successes, yeses, and anything else like that. And it's just never stopping. It's chasing your dream and never giving up on it. And I think that's something that I've done my entire career. I've been amazingly blessed, all the time that I spent in TNA, WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now AEW. I've had an opportunity to wrestle at the top level for a very long time. And I think it's because I've always pushed forward and I've always pushed to be great and the best I could ever be. You're never going to reach perfection, but you can always push forward and try to be the best that you could ever be for the people and the fans that are watching. And I think that's something I've always shown and done. And, this is kind of that crowning moment with the IWGP US Championship again, and hopefully bigger and more things to come. That AEW Championship looks awful damn good to me.
I dig it. Lance, where can people go to find you, follow you, support you, all those great things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm mostly on Twitter and Instagram, at Lance Hoyt on Twitter, at Lance_Hoyt on Instagram. Hoyt's my real name. Archer's my father's name, which is why I use it. So it's one of those things that kind of has a special meaning to me, but those are the two main places they can go and check it out.